Good evening and welcome to We the People. The government told the court this past week that yes, women will be given permanent tenures in India's armed forces, but that these roles will be restricted to non-combat roles. In other words, no fighting units and no circumstances in which a woman officer may come in direct contact with the enemy. Also, the government clarified that these permanent tenures would only be applied to future recruits, not to present women officers. So on the program today, we look at whether the Indian Army and other wings of the armed forces are actually discriminating against women, or whether priorities of national security need to be considered before we talk about equal opportunity principles. Of course, we've got a live audience with us like every week, but if you'd like to send your feedback via Twitter, you can do that as well by logging on to Twitter. My Twitter handle's @bdat. You can also post comments on our website, that's ndtv.com. Let's get straight into the debate now. Before I get the view from the military, I want to start with Kiran Bedi. As somebody who's been a path-breaking police officer, you've had to break your own glass ceilings in your tenure. This notion that women should be kept away from fighting units, that women should not actually have to wield arms, that women should not come in contact with the enemy as described by the armed forces. Do you think that's reasonable?
We need to give it a serious thought, because directly in contact with the army, to me, is a lion's den. But when
are you saying women are scared of the lion's den?
No. A trained woman will not be scared of the lion's den. But remember, she is with lots of lions. And the point is that if she fails, then all women can be declared as failed. So the point is, if we want women, then we have to put the system in place.
Did you face this in the police, that women are better at handling traffic but not an encounter?
Yeah. I think there are no two extreme comparables. It's civil society. Policing is still civil society, and you don't have an enemy. Okay. Because even when you're fighting an encounter, you're not fighting an enemy. Yeah. You're fighting a rebel or a criminal, but who's not an enemy. And then you don't shoot to kill. You shoot to injure or disperse or capture. Whereas in the military, you're trained to shoot to kill.
So are you saying yes or no to a larger role for women in the military?
No, I'm saying that if you, if it's a fighting fit woman, I would say if it's a fighting fit woman and she can prove her worth, then she has, and you've recruited her, and she wants a combat, then you have no business to deny her.
I can see General Shankar Prasad smiling. He's waiting for an onslaught of angry comments from many of the women here. But before that, I want to get Gul Panna again. Of course, we know her as an actress, but you're from a Fauji family. You're the daughter of an army officer. Did you ever want to join the military?
Yes, I'm going to come to that very briefly without taking up too much time. As a little girl, I was telling everybody as we were sitting and waiting, I used to call my father Ram Ram Saab. I was told he's Papa, and I would say, no, he's Ram Ram Saab, because everybody called him Ram Ram Saab. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the kind of ethos that I grew up in, and I wanted to join the army. My father's from the mechanized infantry, and I wanted to join the mechanized infantry. Now, in combat arms, there are fighting arms and then there are non-fighting arms. Only 45% of the Indian Army is actual fighting arms, and the rest of the combat arms, a very small percentage of them actually get involved, but it's actually these three arms that are specifically trained for, they're called fighting arms.
Tuba.com